I think the first thing that I noticed when I watched Baby Reindeer was that this is a fantastically acted series about a stalker, and it's very troubling. But by the time you get to the end, you think, oh, it's about this. He's becoming something, and it's about this other thing as well. But after thinking about it for a few days, I think it actually goes a level deeper, and it's about this much bigger thing. This video contains spoilers. Consider this. At the beginning, Martha walks into a bar. She sits down and orders a Diet Coke from Donnie, the bartender. She doesn't have any money, so Donnie gives it to her on the house. She then attaches herself to Donnie. She stalks Donnie, and then she goes to jail. Fast forward all the way to the end, Donnie walks into a bar, sits down, orders a vodka Coke, doesn't have any money to pay for it, and the bartender gives it to him on the house. And the way that he looks up at the bartender with these sort of big eyes and this big realization, I think, it brings about two questions. One, is he realizing something huge, or is he becoming something huge? And what does he do from this point forward? Now, we don't know, of course, but what we do know is that Donnie is now in a very similar position that Martha was in at the beginning of the series. I don't think that his look and the way it ends signals to us for sure that he's going to do what Martha did. He's going to become that kind of person. They leave it open to interpretation, of course, and that's one of the great things I love about great series, great art, great music, is that there is a bit of abstraction there so that you can kind of fill in the blank yourself. You can take it and run with a couple of different ideas. At first, when I saw the ending, I thought, for a moment, it's possible that he is contemplating going down the same road that Martha went down. He says throughout that they have kind of a shared trauma. They have like a trauma bond, that he actually enjoys some of the attention that Martha was giving him. He gets off on it a little bit. They both have insecurities and fears and anxieties and loneliness and depression, and some of the things that they experienced are the same things that they kind of bonded over, I think. So here he is looking at the bartender in a very hungry kind of way, but it's not entirely clear that that's what's going to happen. For me, quickly that went away, and I started to think, okay, I think this is actually a comment on the cycles of violence. Like, here he got stalked, he's going through all of these terrible things, but now he's in the position that she's in. Is he going to act the same way that she did? Because that's kind of something he experienced, and I don't know why cycles of violence or whatever continue, but for all of those reasons, is that in his tool belt, so to speak? Is he going to use those now and become what she was? That's what I thought at first, but I think there might be a little bit of a comment on that, but I think there's something deeper going on. Before you become or reject something, like a path, for example, if he's going to become Martha or reject that, I think you have to make a choice. And I think that's the deeper thing here, is that he's at a fork in the road. He has the choice now to become either what she was, or become his own person, or do the right thing. And I think that's the major difference between the two of them. But I think the fact that he's in that position is the shocking part, and the look that he has is kind of a realization, like, holy shit, I just arrived where she arrived at the beginning of the series, and I couldn't really relate to it before, but after everything that we've been through, after everything that I've experienced, here I am, almost like in a Being John Malkovich kind of way. Like, I'm now seeing through her eyes in a way, not with the same experiences and not the same exact way, but from that sort of perspective. I'm not even saying that he is looking like he can understand it. Maybe he can. I think it's possible. But he at least sees where she was coming from a little bit. But I get the sense that he understands that it's about our choices, our sense of responsibility of what's right and wrong. And despite the trauma bond in his experiences, he still gets that he has a choice. In Martha's case, I don't know that she was able or equipped to handle that situation, to make the right choice. I do get the impression that he does. He's aware of it. So I think it's less about the fact that he's going to follow in her footsteps and continue this cycle, and more about the realization that he does, as best he can, kind of see how she arrived at that point, since he's arrived as well. So just before the last scene, he's kind of walking around listening on his earbuds to all the voice messages that Martha had left him. But I get the sense, let me know if you thought this too, maybe it's obvious, but that he kind of curated and cut and spliced things so that he was hearing kind of the more beautiful things that she said, so that he could, and maybe that was just the way that he was hearing it, but she described why she called him Baby Reindeer, and it's that when she was younger, the baby reindeer she had as a stuffed animal was something that she could depend on, because when her parents fought, and they fought a lot, she said, and it got bad, it sounds like, she would clutch the baby reindeer because that's what gave her comfort, that's what helped her get through it. And so I find it endlessly fascinating how people become who they are. So it's interesting kind of to think about if Martha had had a slightly either different experience, or she had maybe got proper care from like a psychotherapist or a therapist or whatever it is, would that have prevented her from arriving at that situation, or was she destined to always do this? I mean, we can't know unless we're able to do studies in multiple dimensions where people make one choice and that creates a alternate universe. Like, and unless we're able to like monitor that situation and find out, there's no way we can know. Right? If string theory is correct, I think it's string theory, but there's an alternate reality or universe that's created for every possible decision we make. I don't know if it's about everything. It seems like you'd get cluttered with universes if that's the case. But these are like big scientists saying this, so it's not yours truly making this up. But it would be interesting to know if she had had the proper care, would she have been able to avoid this? The reason I'm mentioning it is because I wonder if that went through his head before he sat down in that bar thinking, I feel, you get the sense that he's thinking, I think I might have messed up here by sending her to jail. Like, I may have misunderstood her. He started to sympathize with her. And I don't know if it was that she's got a multiple personality thing going, where she's one way when somebody crosses her, but then she's trying to use that other personality to sort of schmooze and woo and bring him in and reel him in, you know, because he's listening to it, sympathizing with her. It's almost like she's using like subversion tactics to get him to sympathize with her. And we're almost experiencing that as well as we're watching it, because I started to think like, geez, I feel so bad for her. You know, like she did all these terrible things, but at the end of the day, she's a victim too. And I think there are definitely times throughout the series where there's a blurred line between victim and stalker here for a lot of different moments. Maybe not every character, but there are moments where you feel, I'm not entirely sure who I should feel sorry for here, or who I should be rooting for or supporting, because it's done in such a beautiful way. I mean beautiful like in terms of like the script writing and the directing and the acting. You kind of lose at times the sense of, I'm not sure where I stand or who I stand with. Just another thing that makes it such a great watch.